Welcome back to another episode of the Know Your Power podcast. I am your host, Julia Renee.
I'm Kendall Aaliyah.
And today, we're talking about gym girl chats. It's gym girl chitty chats.
These are my favorite to film
They're
so
my
far.
favorite too.
And we're getting like the most amount of comments I've ever seen, which like in my eyes, I care way more about like comments than I do likes or views.
Yes.
Because I'm like, oh, we're actually engaging and talking
Yes.
about things that like other people care about. And it's just cool to see.
Oh yeah, I love them. I love reading them. You guys know, like, I mean, we always try our best to answer as much as we possibly can.
I've gotten so much better.
Yeah.
I like actually making a point to like have dedicated times a day to like read my DMs and answer them and all that. Cause I used to just like ignore all of it.
Mine is like every time you do cardio, you answer all your DMs. So like I have like a place in which I do it, and I try not to do it like in between those times, because then I'm distracted and I get like excited talking to you guys, and I'm like, wait, I have to actually do some work.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about first and foremost something that I haven't told you yet that I've been working on behind the scenes. And I could tell you guys by the time this comes out, because we're a little bit early on recording because we got ahead of schedule, you would already have known. But when we're recording this is the day.
Is this new to me?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I don't think I've told you
anything. I
anything.
don't know why I'm nervous.
I haven't, because all of it happened within a week. Like since I saw you last, none of this happened.
But also last week, when I saw you, you said, oh, I'll tell you after the pod for something, and you didn't.
That's what it was.
Okay.
That's the thing that it was. So
I'm ready.
I am a new athlete of Buff Chick.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. It literally happened all so fast.
And we love them.
We love them. So if you guys, I think we did an episode talking about it, right?
Well, we had Meg on.
Yeah, duh. Okay, you're right. We had an episode where we interviewed Meg Squats, and Meg Squats and her husband both own the supplement company Buff Chick. So they invited both Kendall and I out to one of their, I think it was like their 3-year anniversary event, like in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And we're not even athletes with them, like whatsoever. And they invited us out.
And they were so nice.
Amazing. It was like so many different women from all walks of life, different kinds of athletes. There's bodybuilders. There's like 3-time like Olympic weightlifters, like all different types. They were all so nice. And it's always kind of scary. What Kendall and I talked about this, like going into a room of women and being like, I don't know if anyone's gonna like me.
Yeah.
Like you just get really scared. I just burped, but that had been bubbling for quite some time. Ew, that was a gross word.
Bubbling.
It had been bubbling. My mom gets so mad because I burp all the time on my YouTube channel, because like that's just who I am as a person. But what was I talking about?
You were talking about
Buff Chick.
Yeah, meeting the girls.
Yes, they were all so incredible. And you guys know I've been with First Form for like since I started my fitness journey. I feel like it's been like 3 or 4 years at this point. I've lost track. And I absolutely love First Form. The reason that I signed up with them in the first place is because their values very much aligned with mine.
Yeah.
So it was a really difficult decision to make the transition, but ultimately one of my goals with First Form was to become an elite athlete. They only have a select number of elite athletes, and it's very rare that someone gets chosen to be a new one. The rest of the people are all legionnaires, which is like a level, it's
like a tier system.
Like a tier
lot
system.
of brands do that.
Yeah, so I had been at that level for 3 years, and I was getting a little frustrated. Like I really wanted to be like an elite athlete. I felt like I put in so much time, so much energy. I know the product, and I still 100% support the product and the brand and love them. So it was more of like, it was a difficult decision to make. So I got an offer from Buff Chick. Like I want to say a little bit after, like the very end of January, I got an email
Which is pretty recently
from Buff Chick, and so I had to talk to First Form and stuff. There was a lot of like back and forth. I'll tell you more about that stuff when we're off. But
for those who don't know, though, like if you've never had a sponsorship or don't know how they work, you typically sign a contract for like a prolonged period of time. So switching is not an easy process, or like leaving a company is also not an easy process, and you like typically have to talk to them about like why you're leaving or how you're leaving or when and all these things, and it makes it very business transactional, which can be for me, anxiety inducing sometimes.
Yes. So it was very challenging to do that because there's been multiple times in me working with First Form that I've, what more can I do? You know, like what else can I do to become an elite athlete? We've had conversations, like has been times where I've almost left and they're like, no, like stay a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And nothing to do with like them as people, nothing to do with the product. I'll still use their products. I'll still support them. But something was pulling me. When I got the email from Buff Chick, I was like, oh man, I was like, this is hard because it's like, do you stay with the person that you have been with for 3 years?
I
was thinking of it like a relationship, or do you go with this like new guy that's like has all of the things that, it's like, that's how I was
Buff
thinking
Chicks,
about.
like what you were saying before though, like it instantly felt like a family.
Yes.
And they're just very like open people. And like, I'm not an athlete and they still like, they sent me stuff and they still reach out and they support me, and like it's just cool to have. And I feel like different brands offer different things, and that's kind of what were looking for. Yeah, you wanted that community feel. Yeah,
because community is something that is like really big and important to me. Like I want to feel that we are, and that's why we've created a community with this podcast, and I've created a community in like my Know Your Power program and our sisterhood and stuff, because that is really important to me, to have women, especially in this industry, like support each other and together. So when we went to that, I was like, I need to be a part of this. I was like, I don't know how, but I like need to be a part of this. So basically I signed my contract with them a couple of days ago, and already they're flying me out to the Arnold. I'm going to be at their booth for the Arnold.
That's so exciting.
We got a photo shoot, and today at 12, they're announcing that I'm an athlete on their page.
How exciting.
So it was the right decision. I was calling my dad because I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what decision to make. And he was just like,
see, if you asked me, I would have been like, this is easy.
Yeah. He was like, okay, we'll go with your, like what your gut is telling you. And my gut was Buff Chick, like 100%. So that's the thing.
Congrats.
That was the thing.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I can't believe you didn't tell me also.
Well, this all literally happened in a week.
No, yeah. But when I get anything, I'm like, I need to text Julia.
That's true.
Mostly for business advice. I would have called you like you're my dad and been like, what should I do?
I was very like, but it was so easy. When you listen to your gut, the decision's very easy.
Yeah.
When you listen to like your head and you be super logical about things, that could be good too. But also, at the end of the day, it didn't matter like what First Form was going to pay me, what they were going to do.
Yeah.
My heart was with Buff Chick.
That's like I think in the beginning when you're first offered like different sponsorships or brand deals, you want to say yes to everything because you're like, ooh, money, or like, ooh, followers, like whatever. And then over time, like the sponsors I've had in the last like year are because I truly loved them, and they all offered me less money than these other companies. But I knew, like, I had a gut feeling, kind of what you're feeling of like, I need to go with this one that my like morals align with a little more, and like my image aligns with a little more.
Oh yeah. And I'm just really pumped to see everything that happens with that company because I support it so much and love the owners and what they
Their
stand
photo shoots
for.
are always sick.
They're adorable.
Did you see the recent one Meg did in like the fabric? So cool.
Yeah.
Like so cool.
I'm pumped to see like what our photo shoot's going to be like at the Arnold. So
that's so exciting.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. But so on our YouTube, if you guys don't watch on YouTube, if you want to see us in real life, we have our YouTube down below linked, and we have the podcast
it
of us doing it too. It
shocks me that people don't watch the YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, I only see the analytics on the YouTube side because I'm logged into that.
Yeah.
I don't know what our views are like on Spotify, but you say they're high.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in my head, like YouTube's the only option.
Yeah. But both of them have almost like an equal amount of views, which is pretty impressive because we only have 7,000 followers on our YouTube channel. And like we do this because like we genuinely just love doing it. And it was crazy because I looked at them the other day and I was like, there's a lot of people that are watching this for how many followers we have. Like, so I'm loving that
we love you
guys do that. Like, thank you. But there was a comment by Bill _ nihilist on YouTube, and he says, he or she, I'm not sure, or they, I'm not sure because I can't tell by the photo, but it says, I love how in the most recent podcast I watched, they said that their followers are either a Julia, sorry, choked on my spit. They're either a Julia or a Kendall. I'm definitely a Julia, LOL. I'm watching her describe what she gets at the nail salon only to look down and see that we have the same nails.
Aww.
Laugh my ass off.
I have something else to add. Hold on. I don't want to like play the video out loud. This comment said, and it's by Coach Ashley Jean, and it's like the top comment. This got a lot of likes, which means a lot of people agree. When you're sometimes an outgoing crackhead and sometimes anxious and shy, so you identify with both Julia and Kendall.
You're a Coolia. Yeah, you're a Coolia.
Is that our ship name?
That's so funny.
A Gendel.
That sounds gross.
But I thought that was so fun. I saw that one. But yeah, I think it's funny. Like some people are like, oh, I do identify with this or I do identify with that. And it's like, I identify with that. Again, literally as I was editing that podcast, I just finished and then I went to the gym and this girl came up to me and I have my headphones in and I take them out and she goes, oh, I'm so sorry to bother you. And it's just like, they're always so gentle with me. And I think it's so cute.
Yeah. It's
and
so
I'm like,
funny.
no, like, please bother me, please. I know I have RBF. I look annoyed. I promise I am nice.
Yeah.
It's just my face.
It's just my
Especially
face.
at the gym. This is a good one to talk about. I got really bad social anxiety in the gym yesterday. Like gym anxiety, I guess. I really wanted to take a video. And like usually I don't care at all. I'll whip out my camera.
Sometimes I'm like that too. Like randomly, it's like all of a sudden I'm back to like when I first started filming and I'm so embarrassed.
That's how I got. And I think it's because I knew a lot of people at the gym yesterday. Like the whole Iron Will team that like I used to see all the time was there. And like 2 other videographers were there. Savannah was there. Like, so typically when it's strangers, I think I don't care because I'm like, these people don't know me. I don't know them. They're never going to see me again. It's fine. But I think I got so in my head and then I really wanted a video. So every set, every exercise, no matter where I was in the gym, I was like, I really want to film, but I'm really nervous right now. And I didn't end up doing it. And I'm mad that that like won over what I actually wanted to do. But just a reminder, everyone gets gym anxiety. I was freaking out yesterday.
I still get gym anxiety when I go to new gyms. Like it's especially when I go to a new gym that I don't know where the things are at. Like you don't know who you're going to see.
Yeah.
It's like that comfortability with the gym that you normally go to. That you're like, okay, if I walk in, I just go straight to this one and like you know where it is versus like you're kind of wandering around and like, anybody know where the leg extension is?
I would say like my biggest tip for that, and this works really well at the gym I've been going to, is the cardio is upstairs.
I love that.
So I get to do cardio and kind of map out where I can go and where people are. And I literally did that yesterday. Halfway through my workout, I was like, I'm just going to go upstairs because I feel super overwhelmed right now. I don't know what to do. I don't know like how I want to do certain things, whatever. And I just went up and I was like, I'm just going to walk for 5 minutes between these 2 exercises and then I'll go back down. And that's what I did. And it does help. So even if your gym doesn't have like its own floor for cardio, just like getting out of like the middle of the gym kind of helps you like recollect your thoughts.
Go out to the side and like pretend to stretch.
Yeah, I've done that too, for
like,
sure. Or I look like I'm looking for someone. It's like, I'm not.
Yeah.
But I'm just like looking around like, oh, where are they?
Yeah.
It's like really I'm looking for
Where is my dignity?
Where is my non-anxious body at? But yeah, yesterday was rough. And I haven't had that hit me in a minute. And I was just like, I want to go home.
Yeah, I feel like now I know why this is the case because I'm pretty sure I started my period yesterday. Like, I'm not sure. I'm getting ready to.
Mine's starting soon, and we're usually on par.
We're disgusted. It's so funny, though. But I went to the gym yesterday, and I was training shoulders the day before, and I was pretty weak. And I was like, why am I so weak? And I was like, I could be starting my period. And I was like, I don't really know. Like, I looked at my wrist that doesn't have the watch.
No watch.
But and then the next day I went to the gym to train legs, and I was a little bit more self-conscious about how I looked, how my body was looking, like if I was bloaty, if people were judging me for taking photos, because I took this sick ass photo. I stood on top of a machine
Love that for
but
you.
it was, and I was balancing on one foot, trying to flex my quads, but it's also I only had half of a mirror to do it in. When I post a photo, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I was like, this is sick. The lighting's, I was like, I have to get this. And then suddenly you think like everyone's staring at you. You know, when you're just on your period and you're like way more emotional and like everything's just triggering. And I was like, there was this guy that was there and he was a really big guy, very strong. And he had like a red t-shirt on, and I don't know why, but in my head I was like, he hates me. He just hates me.
I do this all the time.
He saw me take a photo. He hates me. And then when I went to because I always do like a post, because if you didn't take a picture, you weren't even there, right? Like if you didn't take a picture of you at the gym,
doesn't even count.
You need to tell everybody about how awesome you are that you went to the gym.
Of course.
But I took another photo on my phone because I take those also because I upload them to a folder that Chloe has and she can use them for a bunch of our stuff. So I took another one there and I could have sworn it might have been period brain that he walked by, rolled his eyes at me because both times he saw me.
It's like in reality he doesn't care at all.
Yeah, because the first time I saw him, I was recording my workout because this is what I do.
Yeah.
The second time he saw me, I was taking a photo. The third time he saw me, I was taking a photo on my phone. And I was like, I could have sworn he did it, but honestly, he probably didn't. And it was just my own stuff.
Where I was at yesterday too, because there were, the like few people I knew there had photographers or videographers with them. So in my brain, I was like, they're going to think I'm so janky for doing this myself. And that I'm not as cool as them.
That's so crazy.
Like, it's just weird that we create these scenarios. And it's like, in reality, they're doing their workout. Like, they are not paying attention to me. They're on the opposite side of the gym.
And you know what? They could also be thinking, oh my God, this is embarrassing. I'm having someone record. You know what I mean?
Like, so we're all just anxious.
We're all just, anxious. Yeah. And
that was rough yesterday.
I love it. Also, I was thinking, what would be like the archetype of a Julia or a Kendall? Like what are the things, like if you do this, you might be a Julia, or if you do this, you might be a Kendall.
If you leave any function as early as possible, actually you're both of us.
You're both of us. So that's when you're a
when you're a
what was the word?
Gendel or
let's call it a gendel because it sounds kind of weird. Or a coolia. Yeah, that's one thing that we have in common. Me. What would be an archetype of a Julia? You get really, really anxious if your schedule doesn't go exactly how you planned it.
That's a good one.
And you think that the world is falling apart.
And if you don't make a schedule or have one at all, you're me.
Me. If you go to the Sephora to just feel something.
If Sephora gives you panic attacks because you're overwhelmed, you're me.
That's so funny because Kendall texted me and Erica like when we went out for Kendall's birthday and she was like, I was just at Sephora, it was the worst thing ever. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, that's like my motherland.
I have like two newer anxiety responses. One, I black out. My vision goes.
It's just blurry eyes.
IKEA did this to me the other day and Sephora did it to me the other week when I told you about it. But when I'm in an area, and it's kind of like being in a new gym where you don't know where anything is, because I'm usually an Ulta girl.
Well, IKEA, they literally give you a path to walk.
It's still so much stuff and so overwhelming and so many people and people walking in different directions and people talking. And like when I'm like that, my vision literally, I black out. And I was with my mom at IKEA the other week and we were walking and I kept saying it. I was like, I think I'm literally blacking out right now. And she kept like giggling at me. And I'm like, I'm not joking. Like I'm so overwhelmed and I want to go home.
Your mom's like, shut up, child. You're fine.
And then we find this thing in like, IKEA has like a little clearance section by the checkout. So we go through the whole thing and I'm like, I'm obsessed with this. It's like a green dresser. And I ended up buying it, but it's made out of like metal, like a thin metal material. So like really loud. And I go to pick this thing up and this is like the epitome of my worst fear because I'm already, again, we're almost to the checkout line. We're almost done. We're almost leaving. And I've been anxious the entire time in here. And I was like, okay, I do want to buy this. And it's big. It's like a good 6 foot, probably like 4 or 5 foot dresser. And I go to pick it up and I pick it up sideways because that's the easier way for me to hold it because there's like no carts around. I was like, that's fine. I can carry it. This is why I lift. And I go to pick it up and all of the metal crashes down And it's just clinging because all the shelves in it don't like stay in it if it's tilted. So now it's, again, metal material, thin metal, that like banging sound. Everyone turns to look at me. I look at my mom. She walks away from me.
Your mom.
And I literally was like, are you kidding me right now? And she's like, I'm going to get a cart. I was like, I need you to come here. Like, if you don't come here, I will start crying. And everyone's still looking at me.
I can imagine this happening because I know your mom, and
she doesn't know what anxiety is. She has never had anxiety.
Her mom is hilarious.
But yeah, so she starts walking away from me, and I'm like, you have to come back.
You're like, come back or I'm going to cry.
But that was an epitome. The second thing I do besides blacking out, and that gets pretty bad, like on flights, like I'll actually like pass out.
Yeah.
That's like my anxiety response. The second thing is I like shake like viscerally, and not like, oh, my hands are a little shaky.
You're like a chihuahua.
I will like, full body shakes.
You chihuahua it.
So
me on a plane, I just have to get up every 5 minutes to go pee. I'm like,
that's a good one. If you have to pee every 5 minutes,
if you have to pee every
Julia.
5 minutes,
if you don't drink water, you're a Kendall. When you gave me my Christmas gift, it was all very like clean girl aesthetic things. She got me like face masks. She got me like the headband, the wrist things, like nice new socks. And I brought them to my boyfriend and I said, Julia is what we would consider, and he doesn't know the terms, a clean girl.
I had to explain to Zach because there's something that we're potentially wanting to work on. And I had the idea of creating like different aesthetics behind it. And I had to explain to him what they were because you guys have to remember Zach is 37 and I'm 26. So like,
get with the times.
Yeah.
Anyway, I said to him, I said, Julia is what is like the epitome of a clean girl. And I'm whatever is the exact opposite of that.
Squirrel girl.
Like I am a dirty
sloth
human
girl.
being.
Sloth girl. Sloth girl.
And I was like, but I'm working on it. I have like some moments, like my outfit today. And like I showered this morning and I'm feeling like a clean
showered.
girl.
Yep.
Most days I am gross.
So we have sloth girl and then we have clean girl. That's the difference.
I haven't heard sloth girl. Is that real?
Yeah. I heard that from Anna. She also loves sloths. So I mean, that could be why. But we actually did get some questions emailed in from, so we can kind of rapid fire these because we got some other topics we got to talk about. We got some wellness news.
We got some good ones.
Some wellness news. But I thought they were really good questions. So I thought like that our listeners would love them. So the first one, it says, how do you overcome post-gym blues?
Is this meaning like you just left the gym and now you're sad?
So I've never experienced this before. So when I was emailing her back, I was trying to answer it and I was like, I've never actually experienced this before.
Yeah.
But what I'm assuming is
I have.
And that's why
to a degree.
That's why I wanted to like talk about it to you because I was like, Kendall might have, and she could probably like better speak to it. So I'm guessing like you get on like a real high when you're at the gym and then you're done and you're like, what is life?
Well, I think to me, like anytime I was in a depressive episode in the past, like when I was having some like bad mental health days, the gym was like the one thing I looked forward to in my day. And that was like, I know therapy is therapy and the gym is not therapy, but it felt like a form of therapy. And it's what I looked forward to and what I wanted to do that day. Yeah. So by the time it was over, it was kind of like a now what type of
I've done
feeling.
like the thing that like is keeping me sane for the day. Now what do I do?
Yeah. I don't really have great ways to combat it. What did you say?
Mine was like, honestly, I can't remember what I said.
I feel like my biggest thing is just like setting up other things in your day. Like I know we kid all the time about like that's our one outing of the day, but like I notice on slow days, and that actually is the one time I'm leaving the house, I'll try to plan for later in the day, like going to a coffee shop or going somewhere else so that it's not the only time I'm leaving the house. Cause I know a lot of people work from home this day and age. So like you're either at home or at the gym, and then that's tying so much worth to like leaving and going to the gym.
True.
You got to tie it to other things too. So it's not like all you're riding on, if that makes sense.
If I had more information too, I think I'd be better able to speak to this, but also going back to the aspect of the gym being like your only place that you feel good. Like I love that you can use the gym as that energy release because we've all cried at the gym before. Like, let's be real. I've cried at the gym squatting so many times. I'm like, I can't see, but it's okay. But also like to consider what is actually going on. Like digging a little bit deeper, like why is this happening? Why do I feel such a high when I'm at the gym? And then when I get home, I feel so low. Like there could be something that's going on in your personal life
for sure
that you're resisting. And one thing that Zach and I have been talking about to our girls in the Know Your Power program is what you resist will persist. So we always walk around in life, like a lot of us have done that, where we just black everything out. We're like, no, like pretend it's not there. What you resist will persist. So it'll keep pushing you to address it and shine a light on it. So that's something that I would look into just in case, but it can also be just that spike of endorphins that's really high. Like maybe even you're taking a little bit too much caffeine to where you like go
That's very true.
You go really high and then you crash. For me, I get a lot of energy after my workout.
I do too.
And then like last night, Zach and I were like working till 8 p.m. because we're doing so much work right now that we love, and we have our calls Mondays and Tuesdays, our hour-long mindset calls with our clients. So like I get home from the gym, eat a meal, and then I go talk to them, and like I'm even more high because they also like lift me up. So also finding other things that can help you have that same feeling that's not just the gym.
Exactly.
Like figure out what else can like light you up.
When I do think about the times I had like post-gym blues, if you want to call it that, it was because my mental health was bad. Yeah. But like now when I have other things I can focus on and other things I look forward to every day, you don't really experience that quite as much. So I agree. Yeah. Like, just find the root of the problem always.
Yes. Do a little journaling prompt.
The second question, is it more effective in the gym to push until failure and compromise the form of your exercises?
No.
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 I didn't know what you were going to say, but I was like,
We both have done that though.
Oh, for sure. And I still do sometimes.
Yeah, I still do sometimes.
Sometimes the ego takes
sometimes
over.
We want an ego lift.
Or sometimes you do want to like 1 rep max. It's just those should not be often. That shouldn't be what you do every workout.
Yeah.
And the way I explain it to clients is like the last few reps should always be really challenging, but not impossible. You shouldn't get, if you're at a point where your form is breaking, you either need to go down and wait or just end the set a little bit sooner, because if you're getting to that point, that weight is not the weight you should be at quite yet.
Yeah, like if you're going through your reps and it's just like you have to say you have 10 reps and you're just like repping them out, like that's not actually
Too
challenging. But if you get to rep like 7 and then you start to feel the burn and you're like, ooh, and then you get to rep 8 and you don't move the weight up as fast or as smooth, that's good. Like that's kind of where it should feel. And then 9, it's like you can get it up, but it's like the, you know what I mean? Like if that can give you guys an idea, but always form first, especially from people that have done terrible form and then you know realize that you can get so much done with lighter weight and time under tension, and there's a way to progressive overload without doing it so much to where you can't do it on anything else.
By compromising your form, you're just risking yourself for injury. I feel like that's not worth it ever.
Yeah,
then you're going to be out of the gym.
Also, too, since you guys have already heard the episode of me interviewing my coach, so I got to meet him in person for the first time, and I learned so much from our workout together. Go check on my YouTube. It should already be up, but if you want to target your upper glutes, because that's like my one spot right now that needs the most work. I have a ton of the lower. I still need the upper. And it's mainly because I just have struggled to target it correctly. And he literally adjusted all of my main workouts to target more upper glute. So basically, he showed me how to make my hip thrust target the upper glute. And then also, obviously, I can do it the traditional way and target the whole glute. So go watch that video because it's amazing. But I have been doing some of those things the past couple of days, and it's just crazy. Like I've been decreasing the weight so that I can get the form down right, because that was one of his biggest things. He's like, don't go super heavy at first, get it down. And it was small movements, like turn your feet this way, turn your hips this way. And so go watch that because you will learn so much. And all of those workouts, I was like, oh my God, I feel it exactly where I'm supposed to feel it.
It's crazy what changing your form can do with an exercise.
Especially like with different body types too. Because he would see me like get on a certain exercise and be like, well, you're a lot shorter, so let's move your feet a different way. And he actually, one of the biggest things that I'll share with you, because I'm not going to tell you all of the things because you need to go watch the YouTube video because he explains it better. But
we'll be watching.
One of the ones was that I was showing him, I would show him what I do, how I'm doing it, and then he would adjust it. So we started with hip thrusts, and I told him like I usually do it on the booty builder, and he's like, I the booty builder's great. He's like, but I want you to do it on a barbell or a Smith machine, which I hate doing because I hate the setup. He's like, okay, if you hate the setup, he's like, let's do a Smith machine. I could do Smith machine. It's so much easier. And he said, the reason why is that the booty builder, he's like, put your feet on the higher platform, feel where you feel it. I put my feet up higher, and I think it was more hamstring. I could be getting it wrong. I put it mid. It was like mid. I put it lower, and it was in a different place. And he goes, see, but you only have this amount of space to work with.
Yeah.
You only have this platform. And he's like, you're also a little bit shorter versus if you go on a Smith machine or a traditional barbell hip thrust, you can move your feet in different places to see where it needs to be instead of being, you can only do it in here. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. So we went to move to the Smith machine and I was able to move my feet. And what worked for me was I had my feet parallel, but I was, 90-degree angle for my feet, but I turned my toes out. Because normally what I would have done, with me and you was I did them too wide.
Yeah. Still toes out, but also feet out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I almost did like a version of the way you taught me, which was like center, but in order to like in order to target my upper glute only, not only, but like mainly, I did my feet out. So it was almost like a modified froggy. Because when you do a froggy pose, you're like, your heels are touching, but I wasn't. Oh my God, it fired my upper glutes like crazy.
Now I want to go try it.
Yeah, it was nuts.
The gym I've been going to weirdly has 4 different hip thrust machines.
That's amazing.
And I was like, what is the point of all of these? And I always saw certain people that I know, and they have great glutes, doing 2 of the machines. And I usually do one of the other ones. So yesterday or 2 days ago, I was training glutes and I went on every single one with the same weight. The gym was pretty empty. Thankfully, I know like typically you can't just like hop around all the machines, but I was like, I want to try all these and see where I feel them. And the 2 that I see a lot of people using, I felt straight up in my hamstrings, no glutes at all. And I was like, okay, I'm just not built like them. And then looking at it, they were much shorter than me, woman. And I'm like, okay, that's probably why, like, I'm sure the angle is different for different people. And I need to keep the opposite thing in mind. And I need to like move seats sometimes from like the person before me because
Mine's
I have
like
longer,
all the way up.
because I have like longer, like hip to knee is pretty long on me. So everyone is different. That is really important though, is like finding what works for you and your body. And we're doing an episode, or it would have came out by now, on shoulders and what trains them the most effectively. I feel like we should do one specifically on like our glute tips.
Because we asked you, we asked you guys in a couple episodes ago if you wanted us to like deep dive each muscle group and like things that worked for us, tips that helped us, like do's and don'ts. Even like workouts that we enjoy where we really feel it. And we're going to deep dive like every muscle group. So just stay tuned because we're going to do all of those. But the next question is, how do you maintain your motivation to pursue your goals when your significant other, like my husband, doesn't share the same level of excitement or enthusiasm about my achievements? This one is like twofold. Yeah. So what I was thinking was, okay, does he just not understand? Because there's a difference between like he doesn't support anything that you do and he's like negative, because I've had one of those. We've had one of those. Or does he just not get it? Because there'll be some times where I'll come home and I'll like say something super niche to Zach that he doesn't understand, that's a part of my world. And I'm like, guess what? I got this, maybe it's like a workout that I did or like a something super specific. Like I got this sick ass photo, had the perfect little lighting and the blah, blah, blah. And he's like, cool. Yeah. And I'm like, why are you not as excited? And he's like, and then he goes, cool.
Because they don't get it and they don't get certain things. Like I'll say social media achievements to my significant other all the time, and like, he doesn't post on Instagram. He doesn't get it. He doesn't have anything to reference what that is. So yeah, it's one of those things that like sometimes just explaining your goals or why you have them to someone can make that image like more, I guess, like real in their head too, because when we see our goals, we see it as like, this is how it's going to be. This is my dream life. This is why I want to get those things. But if you just tell someone what your goal is, I don't think they usually realize like the impact that has on you. True. So sometimes you just need to explain it to people. And like, I'm not going to show a photo to my boyfriend because he's not going to get the same level of hype of if I sent it to like Julia and Erica or to my mom, they would like hype me up more because they get it and they are in the same world. So I think in that sense, it would be good to like, if that's the case,
case, if they just maybe don't understand why these are things that excite you. Because I remember feeling that when I was with a partner when I first got into the fitness industry, and he wasn't at all. So I would go to the gym and I'd like hit a PR, or like I had the courage to film myself or something. I'd come home and like try to talk to him about it, and he just didn't understand.
Yeah.
So he would be like, okay, like that's cool. And I would be like, you don't get it. Like
sometimes
you don't get it.
Sometimes including them in your goal helps too.
Yeah.
Like my boyfriend isn't necessarily like I don't think if I wasn't in his life he would really like care about bodybuilding.
Yes.
Like he would go to the gym sometimes. He used to work at a gym, so like he knows what he's doing, but like it's not what he looks forward to every day.
Yeah, it doesn't like excite him.
Yeah, so sometimes I have to include him and be like, hey, let's work out together today, or like, hey, like I'm making you come to the gym with me today and we're gonna do this today. That way they at least like see you and you working towards your goal, and then like trying to include them, I feel like can sometimes feel good. And on the opposite side, like if he's passionate about something and I don't get it, if he invited me along to like kind of show me, I would start to understand it, or at least understand why he's passionate about it.
Yeah, there's definitely moments like in your relationship with your other partner is talking about something that doesn't really interest you, but you're still like, like there's times when
Dude,
Zach
I watch
will talk about
WWE sometimes now.
Yeah, and
that is something I would have never
You're just like, sure, yeah, you know, and sometimes it's just, you know, the compromise of the relationship. But then I'd also want to think about the other devil's advocate is that, are you looking for this person to give you the motivation, the like enthusiasm? Like, do you need that from somebody else, or can you cultivate that within yourself?
That's such a good viewpoint, because that's really how it is. You shouldn't rely on anyone else for your motivation. Like your discipline should be your motivation, you know?
It's always like definitely nice. Like I'm not sure, you know, how supportive this person is of the journey, but I'm definitely empathetic with I know that I've been with a person that wasn't really supportive.
Yeah.
And it does like bring you down, and ultimately it was what made us like pull apart. There's a number of different reasons, but and then also it's just like, okay, well, can you try and cultivate that within yourself? Because maybe your partner just doesn't understand like why it's so cool to you that you did 5 more pounds on a squat.
You should never let it defer you from going after what your goal is, though. Like even if they're anti your goal, that part of your life then should be kept separate, and you don't have to tell them about it. And sometimes finding another community or friends or family that you can tell about this one part of your life, because they will listen or they will get it. Like sometimes that's needed.
Or
not saying it's healthy, but it's needed.
Your goal, maybe they should go away. They should go bye-bye.
You can't tell people to leave their significant
others. I want to tell nobody to leave nobody. I'm saying nothing. I'm just saying that if it's that bad, you know, I don't know how bad it is with this particular person. We don't know. But if it's that bad, and like the person starts making you feel bad about things that you love to do, that excite,
never be the
that's
case.
the red flag.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's do the next couple ones.
Okay. Should I ask?
Yeah.
I want to do a wellness. Yeah, that's the right one. I want to do a wellness competition, but I need to lose weight. Do I need to lift heavy and start building muscle, or do I lose the weight and then try to build the muscle back?
This one depends on how much you
fully
need to
depends
lose.
on the person. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of, like, in my past in competing, like when I was switching from bikini to wellness, I wanted to get lean first to see how much muscle mass I actually had.
Because you never know.
Yeah, because then you can determine, okay, I need to grow this much here or that much here, or I need to lose more body fat here. And actually in that time where I did my initial cut, literally just doing that cut to be like, let's see if I can go wellness, I ended up having enough muscle mass. I surprised myself and I ended up stepping on stage.
Yeah.
So I usually recommend cutting first, not to stage lean by any means, unless you feel like you're on the right path, then you can continue, but just enough where you can actually see how much of your legs is body fat versus muscle mass. Because then you know, okay, I do need to gain more muscle. Let's switch gears and go into a slight build phase. Or, oh, I'm actually on the right track and I can actually cut into a show right now if I feel like I'm ready.
Yeah, because if you have a significant amount of weight to lose and body fat, we can always give you like general guidelines to where women's body fat lays, you know, for competition. But we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really know.
Oh, yeah. And I'm saying that just with my experience. Like, that doesn't mean that'll work for you. That's just the approach I used to take.
Yeah. But like, just think, especially because if you do have a significant amount of body fat to lose, then you're going to be on prep forever to be able to be stage lean. You know, usually this is just a kind of example for me. When I won my first show, I was at 11% body fat. And when I won my, I can't remember. I think I was about that when I got my pro card as well.
Yeah.
But now, like the professionals on stage, like these IFBB pros, they're like 9, 8, like, oh God.
Single digits.
Like, it's crazy. So also, you can also get like a DEXA scan or something to see like where you're lying.
That's true.
What your muscle mass is.
Yeah.
And see. But then also, like, you're right, because cutting down to see, it's almost like you're a statue and you're kind of chiseling away to see like how much muscle mass you have, because our fat is kind of like, it's like a layer, like that we have.
And different people hold it so differently.
Yes.
Like I hold a lot in my glutes, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
But when I cut, my glutes start to shrink and I have to see how much of my glutes it's actually muscle. Okay, they're not enough. Let's go into a building phase and grow those back the right way.
Very true. It's also like we have so many different avenues this can go into. Sometimes, like if you're already a competitor and you've been like wanting to switch into wellness, there's always the option of like, okay, well, I'm just going to go for it and I'm going to do wellness. I'm going to see what the judges say, because it's always good to get some feedback.
Yeah. Even if you feel like you're not the same size as like the wellness pros you see, you would be surprised how like different height classes rank different body types. So yeah, it never hurts to at least step on the stage and just see how you place.
Yeah, it's always nice to get feedback from the judges that are judging you, because then you're like, all right,
instead of being subjective yourself,
just
for sure.
kind of knowing. What I wanted to go into next was men's wellness.
So I'm going to put the photo on the YouTube. This has gone crazy viral in the last like 2 days. And by the time you're seeing this, we film ahead of schedule now by like a good bit. So it's probably been around for a little bit and you probably know more information than we actually do. But basically there's this viral photo of this man who had competed in the wellness category.
Yeah, I think it was in Brazil.
Okay, I was about to look it up.
Yeah. So what they did is, I read about it yesterday. Like I actually like, because by first seeing it, what you immediately think is that, oh, they're adding men's wellness to the IFBB Pro League or the NPC. But I saw a video breakdown of it, and basically this man wanted to compete in the wellness category, I believe, in Brazil. So they made him his own category to compete in.
That's what I want to harp on, because a lot of the videos I'm seeing are like almost false information saying this man competed in a wellness.
Well, they're clickbaity.
They talk about it in a sense of like he competed against women. And it's like,
no, he had his own category.
He had his own category. Yeah. It's men's wellness. And I don't see a problem with that if it's its
he
own category.
Fire.
Yeah.
He did better posing than me. I'm not even gonna lie.
Honestly, it did look
His
really good.
His posing was amazing.
I think the only time where I would be like, what the heck, is if they were just letting men compete in a women's class, period, because the muscle mass is going to be extremely different there.
True.
But that's not what this is. And I feel like that's how a lot of people are viewing it, is like, whoa, how did he win? Or like, why did they let him compete amongst women? It's like, no, it's its own category. And I feel like that's important to harp on, because there's men's physique and women's physique. Yeah. No one's mad about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So why is this going so viral? You know, just because it's a different or new category.
Yeah, and it was I think people were starting like rumors and making like assumptions that it was going to be like a category in the NPC or the IFBB, which even like if it was its own category, like who cares? I mean, I feel like as long as like they don't compete against the women, because it's just kind of not fair, you know, because they obviously have more muscle mass. It's like, but Tyler Mannion, who's one of the people in the IFBB, the top dudes, he put out like a statement that's saying like, no, this category is not getting added to NPC IFBB, because probably people were making up some stuff. But
he was the only one competing, it's not like it's even like huge category in Brazil yet.
I think the promoter of the show made the category specifically for him because he wanted to compete in wellness. So he like made him a category.
That's sweet.
I think it's cute. I read about it and I was like, that's so sweet.
But it is just going crazy viral. I see it
all
at
the
least twice a day.
bodybuilding like YouTubers and anybody's like,
because it's polarizing for sure.
Yes, and it's like, very clickbaity.
When you first see the photo, you're like, whoa, that's a man with the wellness shape, and he also looks really good.
So because what was wild is that like he has the wellness shape, but he's not wearing a top. Yeah. It's just his chest. Yeah. So I'm like,
it's just polarizing.
You look at it and you're like, what? You're like, that's kind of cool. Like it's just interesting. But going into that too, because the Arnold is coming up, and I looked at there's 11 women total that are competing in the Arnold. So the Arnold is invite only. And I looked at all the women and I made my best guess of what I thought the top 5 were going to be. So Fran is competing in the Arnold.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
But and when I saw her on the poster, I was like, I mean, come on. I'm like, I was going to say like, you're not giving anybody a chance, but the only reason I'm saying that is because would they ever let someone else win above her if she's Miss Olympia? You get what I'm saying?
That is true. Like, I also feel like that's happened in bikini, though. I can't give a specific you're right. example, but I'm pretty sure because bikini often trades spots pretty regularly, and you never are 100% sure what the top 3 even at the Olympia is going to be. Wellness has
never traded spots.
That is true. And also I feel like it is going to be a really good battle, though, because I feel like Issa, who you put at second,
I only put her at second because of what I just said. Because I'm like, would they ever put Miss Wellness Olympia in a second spot at the Arnold? Because the Arnold is, I would say, the second most popular, right behind the Olympia.
Yeah, agree.
So
I feel like they had a really good battle at the Olympia, so I could see it going either way depending on how they came in.
I feel like it was a 1 point difference.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Because Issa's
that's going to be fun.
She looks amazing.
I've always loved her physique.
See, I'm not going to lie. I didn't.
She's growing on you.
But I love her. But she's growing. Yeah, she's definitely growing on. Only because I was a Fran stan for like, that rhymed.
See, I think I found Issa
from the OG.
First.
I found Fran first.
We just went with who we found first.
Yes, and I fell in love with her. She's about like the same size as me. Issa's very small too.
Yeah.
I think Fran is 5'3", and I think Issa's 5'2".
Yeah.
But I found her first, and then literally was like, where did she go? She disappeared, shows up, wins 3 Olympias.
Issa has won more than one Arnold?
I think
she won last year. I'm so sorry that I'm so not up to date with things.
I believe Cassandra Gillis won the Arnold. Okay. The year before, I think Issa won. Yeah. Don't quote us, guys, but I saw it and I have it visually, but I'm not sure what the dates are. But so we have Fran that's going to be competing it, which is 3-time, right? 3 times.
Has she done the Arnold since she won it?
I don't think she's done the Arnold. Yeah. This is the first time she's doing the Arnold.
That'll be fun.
I know it's going to be, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to soak it all up, and I'll do some BTS footage, and I'll post it on the pod, and I'll post it on my story too. Yes, but please. So my prediction is Fran's going to be first. Obviously I love her physique. She's very much the wellness standard. That's what the winner of the Olympia is supposed to be. I feel like they're going to put Issa as second because,
they have very similar physiques.
Yeah, very similar physiques. Also, I feel like we have Bruna.
I love Bruna's physique too.
She's a little bit...
She's a little smaller than Issa.
Smaller,
but they're built very similarly. Yes. Like as far as their like longer torso, 100%. Really dominant quads, and like a little more petite on the upper body compared to Fran.
With what they've been judging, I feel like she has the potential to be number 3, mm-hmm. like for real.
She's also so sweet.
I've never met her.
I've
never met her, but I love her physique, and you're right. She's built similarly to Issa. And then there was one name. There's a lot of them that I have no idea who they are. That's so
bad of us.
I know. I only knew the top 3.
I need to stay more on top of things.
Yeah, I only knew the top 3. I didn't know the other ones, but one of them is Lily.
I know her.
Yeah, she's insane.
Another very similar
Another very petite, but like very muscular. I feel like she's going to be number 4.
I'm like looking them all up on Instagram as we're talking about it just to make sure I'm correct.
Yeah, and then Sandra I feel like is going to be number 5. This is just predictions coming from who's that?
Lily.
Yeah, like she's insane.
I'm looking at her quads.
She could potentially be number 3.
Yeah, and she's not from the US, correct? She's 22.
So. Oh my god. What am I doing with my life?
They all look amazing, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good prediction. And I honestly feel like it just depends with what body type they go for. Cause I do feel like sometimes they lean a little more muscular, and then like someone like Sandra might rank a little bit higher and someone like Bruna a little lower because she's just like a little more petite up top. I feel like it's so obviously subjective, but it depends with what look they're looking for this year, I feel.
I know, and that's bodybuilding.
It'll be good though.
That's bodybuilding. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. So I'll keep you guys posted on what happens.
Do.
But yeah, that's what I feel like is gonna be the top 5. I mean,
I support it.
I'm a Fran stan all the way, but also I love Issa.
It would be cool to see Issa win.
I would be. Exactly. I honestly
I wouldn't be mad about it
because it's a very like underdog story where she's been like chasing her,
was like,
and she's killing it.
That was like Phil Heath and Kai Green, right? Yeah, where they were like 1 and 2 for like 8 years.
There's gonna be a day where she kicks Fran off number 1, and honestly,
they both deserve it.
I'm gonna be very happy because she's been working for so many years and been working so hard, and to come like number 2 all the time and still keep pushing and showing up.
I know she has that fight in her though.
That fight, like it's going to be incredible when that day does happen.
All 11 competitors look amazing that I really feel like maybe someone we didn't even name could be top 3. You never know.
Some of the girls that are competing, I did this based off of like I pulled up all their Instagrams and I saw what their physiques were looking like. But some of them don't show.
This is Coach or Judge Julia.
Judge Julia. But some of them don't show their physique. Some of them aren't really active on social media as much. So I don't really know. This is just based off like the girls that actually show what their physique is. So we could be completely wrong. This is just what we're thinking. But yeah, do you have anything else you want to add?
Not really. I feel like we've been talking for a minute.
We've been talking forever. Let's take a little break, but meaning like let's say goodbye.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We love you all so much, and you're more powerful than you think. Bye.